We facts and features. My internet is going a little wacky, so hopefully it stays. This hat. I'm putting out too much energy today with this hat, Kevin. How are you today?
You could power a small city with the energy in that hat, I think. So
Yeah, it's
well,
constant little
well
dingle
done,
dingle.
well
Well,
done.
I want to say a first huge shout out of gratitude for allowing me to be your elf this year in communicating your story out and sharing in a fun, educational, inspiring way that truly we both know our businesses aren't lived on social media. The whole purpose of this is to educate, to educate, to educate, to educate. And with that, we hope people come in and meet us in reality off of these platforms and we do business and build relationships together. So thank you for this past year of allowing me to be your elf brand ambassador.
Of course, it's been fun. Thank you for all the work that you've done. Of course, too. Yeah, we live in a very hands-on industry. We were actually taking material goods and putting them in people's houses. So to have your help on the digital side of things is fantastic. 'Cause it's not what we do, right? We're still working with tangible goods. As archaic as that might be, people still need floors, and those are made out of things, and they need people to sell them and to install them. So thank you, Jeanette.
Yeah, it's been my absolute pleasure. And those real life trees that were coming into our homes on our hardwood floors, just remember, put something down underneath like a pan,
Mhm.
because Lord knows Kevin doesn't want to get a whole bunch of calls the first part of January going, can you come fix my buckling hardwood floors? We've educated you about that stuff,
Mhm.
people, is put a pan underneath. So we encourage you to have a live tree. Just make sure
But
you're
no
caring
water,
for.
just no
Yeah,
water on
no
it.
water. Don't water your live tree inside. Oh, then it's just you need a vacuum cleaner. Okay, enough with the shenanigans. This is a wrap up of 2022. And Kevin, I'd love for you to share with us. Kind of, let's go start at the top, which is your team.
Yeah.
What have you done to add to your team this year?
Well, we probably had the biggest change in the history of the company, which is now 10 years old. We just passed our 10th anniversary. And for that period of time, it was really Tanya and I that were at the top and trying to run it all. And this year we made a big investment in two management level positions, which we hadn't had before. So we added Yan earlier in the year as store manager, which was a brand new position for us. And his job is to watch over all of the front end of the store, the sales, the whole team, the sales team, the project management team. So that was awesome, and we probably could have stopped there, but we had a dream to also have somebody watching the back end and the installation side of things who's a specialist in that. And so we added Daniel, who I've known for a very long time. He was a subcontractor that worked with us for a very long time, and he had the opportunity to join us in a management position and take his massive skill set as an installer and start applying it in a supervisory role. So we basically wanted to multiply him and not just have him do one job, but to oversee and basically take responsibility for our full installation program. And so what a year for us, 10 years in to be able to add these two awesome positions. And Tanya and I knew that we needed these in place in order to get to the next step. And they're in place. So that's amazing. And that's
Awesome.
been my highlight of the year.
Well, and when I used to be in ladies' clothing retail fashion 1.5 years ago, I often was told or trained by my direct managers or district managers and the upper people that your back end is a direct reflection on how your front end is run. So if you don't have a tight back room organized, because if you have to go into your back room and it takes you longer than a couple of minutes to get an answer for someone, You're going to lose that person. And it's much like I'm sure with your installers going, hey, where's my product? Is it on its way? It's the glue in, is this, that, and the other. And just having that one person is going to continue to make the installers shine on job sites, the project managers, shine out to the customers, and their, designers and contractors as well. So, well, I can just imagine 2023, it's just going to go explode because you've got these two very foundational positions in place.
I'm very excited. Like I said, it's not something we've had before, and we've been doing a good job up to this point, but for me, there's always better, right? And I needed help on the team in order to do that. And you're right on the logistics side, because also 1.5 million years ago, I worked in warehousing and logistics, and I've never left that, and I've always realized how important that was. Like you said, it's the back end. The front end of every store is generally shiny and pretty and full of bubble people. But can you execute actually committing, fulfilling your commitments that you made on the sales side? And to me, that's where the rubber hits the road, and that's kind of the underside of the business that most people don't focus on, I guess. But who I am, that's the most important part. Is actually delivering what we promise people.
Absolutely. We've got one person watching on the Facebook page. Thank you so much for tuning in. So now let's move down. We've got the people in place. What is a process that you've put into place this year?
Yeah, well, I guess it ties in with the people, right? As you have more.
Nope. We lost you, Kevin.
Lost connection with the camera. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you, but you've lost connection with the camera. That's okay.
Well, we'll keep talking anyway. Maybe it looks better without seeing me.
Your voice is just as powerful, Kevin.
Part of improving processes is having the manpower and the the time to execute things, right? So I think it's tied into the first part in terms of adding into the management team. And Yann does a lot of work with our sales team that is kind of paperwork and maybe a bit boring, that won't interest the client or interest the people watching. But definitely on Daniel's side, on the installation side, just going and doing regular job site checks, post installation checks, troubleshooting and brainstorming with the client and the installer in tandem. Like all of these things, Jeanette, that we're all about communication. Like that's our focus as a company. Right? So having more people with more expertise that are in the field to communicate or in the showroom to communicate, these are all. This is the best process that we've implemented is having people having time, because business has been. I think you talk to most people that are in business, and the last decade has been trying to do more with less people. Right, as efficiency gets demanded because the market is tight, and so we've reversed that a little bit, and we're trying to do more with more people, and specifically with people that are experts people that are experts in their area. Like Yann, before he was a store manager, he was an expert in the sales side. He was our consistent top performer on the sales team, so that is his specialty. So we've taken him and we focused him on that. We've taken Daniel, who was an expert level on installation, and moved him into management. So these are some of the processes that we've started and are just ongoing. We've just begun to hit our stride with these new team members.
Excellent. I'm going to get you to take a look at the bottom, Kevin, and see, does it say stop cam? Maybe if you push that button, we can get you back.
Let me have a look here.
You came back for a second. Try again.
Oh,
there we go.
Thank you.
Who knows? Technology. Thank goodness we have technology for what it is, and we have amazing installers and in our trades out there that know what they do in reality. So now that moves us to products. What are a couple of product lines that you added to your showroom this year?
Yeah, so two hardwood lines that I'm really excited about. The first is called Woodura from Valinge. So Valinge is known primarily as a locking system, at least here in North America, on click-together hardwood and laminate floors. They actually developed a a complete water resistant hardwood line that once you've locked it together, any topical water, so like a lot of the new water resistant laminates out there, any topical water will evaporate before it actually impacts the floor. About that, and really wide lengths, or sorry, long lengths. It's all made in Europe. It's coming out of Sweden, and it's a really nice price point for that you're getting. And it was an interesting process. We're hardening the actual lamella, so it's quite a thin lamella, but they're hardening it from the underside. So we're getting really floors that are great for active families like mine, right? Where you're going to get some wet spills from time to time.
Yes.
Maybe you got pets, maybe you got kids, you got people running around on the floor, and maybe indentations are a concern. So this would really addresses a lot of those concerns. So excited about that. And we've also added a new European line called Riva. They're out of Spain. It's a third generation family owned business. And yeah, some really nice Euro looks. And again, the wide planks, the fixed long lengths, beautiful colors. So that rounds out our showroom, because obviously we're really heavy on the Canadian made product from Vintage and Mirage, two very good partners and friends of ours. But there's some product that they don't do, and that's kind of that European look. And so we wanted to add a brand that would fill that in. So yeah, we've kind of really redone our whole main floor on terms of our hardwood offerings, and we are actually literally redoing our main floor. Hopefully over Christmas, we're redoing the showroom flooring. So that will be something exciting, hopefully to see in January.
Ooh.
It's going to be a big undertaking, and which is why we've put it off for so long.
Please make sure you take it away. Yes. Take those before and after pictures, because there's nothing better than watching your installers do their best work at home, of where they're going to walk on a daily basis. So
that's a
awesome.
really good point.
So
yeah,
let's
it's going to be fun.
Yeah. To watch something old come out, how you're going to use that old, how to dispose of it properly, how to, do you have to prep the floor maybe differently with whatever you're putting in? So let's get a good education on as you're flipping your floors in the showroom as well.
Idea.
So I'm going to wrap this up and say Ethical Flooring had the opportunity to party with community a couple of times this year. Number one, it started with the Haven, which is the Home Association of Vancouver. I can't remember the last part of that. Used to be the Greater Vancouver Home Builders Association. They rebranded a couple of 3 years ago. They had an opportunity to get involved with their big golf tournament, and sponsoring some gifts for that. So that was one party, because you got to have celebrations at the same time where you're working really hard throughout the year. And wrapping up the year and continuing, just a second, sorry, I'm getting so choked up because girl likes a good party, Kevin, is leading up to sponsoring their podcast, because you are all about education on Haven's podcast as well. And then, of course, wrapping up the year a couple of weeks ago with being a sponsor at Night Shift Street Ministries annual 16th annual gala. So, Kevin, do you want to speak a little bit to why you felt it was important to end the year in a party atmosphere?
Well, as you know, and you've commented, Jeanette, my family and myself and you are involved with Night Shift Street Ministries, not simply in the check writing phase, but also on the ground. And it's been such a fundamental transformation of my family and my kids, especially to be able to serve the least of these. This is not a glamorous gig. There's no pay for it, and you're dealing with some interesting characters at times. But to be able to serve the least of these, which is what we're commanded to do, people who can't give anything back to you. We're instructed to not just invite people to parties that can give us back by inviting us also to a fancy party. We're called to give to people who can't give anything back at all. And that's what Night Shift does, obviously with the hope of that one day we can help them help themselves out of the situation that they're in. But if not, then at least we're providing food and clothing and love.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, serving on your team with Candace is, it's been a life highlight for me and for my family. So when the opportunity came to, support the gala, it was kind of a no-brainer for us. It's sometimes you got to put your hands to work, and other times you got to put your money where your mouth is. And
Yeah.
if you can do both, then that's even better. So yeah, it was a real pleasure to be there.
Excellent. And at last count, I think, Kevin, they were just shy of about $200,000 that they raised, because this particular Night Shift Street Ministries gets no handouts from our government. It's all done by support of sponsors and people that send money our way, or people that drop off warm blanket and clothes, because we know we provide a warm meal, we provide clothes on the back, we provide toiletries while we're there. So it's a very holistic approach. And the biggest thing is we provide prayer over the evening, both at the beginning and at the end. So thank you so much. By the way, your family second, Chris, with our team serving our holiday meal next Wednesday. So I look forward to seeing you in person. So that's the wrap up of 2022 with lots of hints on how epic 20. So thank you so much, Kevin, for joining me today, and we'll see you back in 2023.
Thanks, Jeanette, so much. Merry Christmas.